The large transport ship cruised smoothly through the void of space, its sleek silver exterior gleaming in the light of the distant stars. On board, the crew members went about their duties, monitoring the ship's systems and ensuring a safe journey. But in one of the passenger modules, a group of young alien students were gathered, their eyes wide with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. These students were part of an elite educational program selected from across the Galactic Confederation to embark on a once-in-a-lifetime journey, a field trip to the mysterious planet known as Earth. For centuries, Earth had been the subject of fascination and speculation among the galactic community, a world shrouded in myth and legend, whispered to be a place of unparalleled danger and wonder. Ziara, a bright-eyed Xenorian with vibrant purple skin and antennae that twitched with anticipation, turned to her classmates, her voice brimming with eagerness. Can you believe we're actually going to see Earth with our own eyes? I've read so much about it, but nothing can prepare us for the reality of setting foot on that mysterious planet. Next to her, Deran, a tall, lanky Cortarian with a pensive expression, nodded thoughtfully. Yes, it's quite extraordinary. Earth has long been a source of both intrigue and trepidation within the Confederation. I must admit, I'm a little nervous about what we might encounter there. Across the room, a smaller, more reserved Zoldra named Inara spoke up, her voice tinged with both excitement and trepidation. I've heard the stories, the tales of the ferocious creatures, the unpredictable weather, the very air itself being dangerous to breathe. How can a planet be so inhospitable to our kind? The students fell silent, each lost in their own thoughts, the weight of their impending journey heavy on their minds. They had been told that Earth was a death world. A term used to describe planets with environments so harsh and hostile that they were considered nearly unlivable for most species. The mere idea of setting foot on such a world was both thrilling and terrifying. Well, there's only one way to find out, Ziara said, breaking the silence with a determined glint in her eyes. We're about to make history, my friends. Let's not let our fears get the better of us. The other students nodded in agreement, their expressions resolving with a newfound sense of purpose. They knew that this was an opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to uncover the secrets of Earth and bring back knowledge that could change the course of their civilization. As the ship continued its steady course towards the blue and green orb that was Earth, the students began to prepare themselves, both mentally and physically, for the challenges that lay ahead. The landing on Earth was a harrowing experience, as the students quickly learned that the planet's atmosphere was far more hostile than they had anticipated. The transport ship's advanced shielding and life support systems were pushed to their limits, barely protecting the passengers from the intense heat, powerful winds, and strange, unfamiliar atmospheric composition. As the ship touched down on a vast, grassy expanse, the students took a deep breath, steeling themselves for their first steps on this alien world. Ziara, ever the bold one, was the first to step out, her delicate feet sinking into the soft, springy ground. She let out a small gasp, her antennae quivering as she took in the sight before her. Fascinating. The ground is so soft and yielding, yet it supports our weight. And the air, while thick and heavy, is breathable, if a bit uncomfortable. The other students followed, their eyes wide with wonder and trepidation. Deran paused, his long fingers reaching out to gently caress a tall, swaying blade of grass. The vegetation is unlike anything we've seen before, so green and vibrant, yet so fragile-looking. I wonder what other wonders this planet holds. Inara, ever the cautious one, kept close to the ship's airlock, her gaze constantly scanning the horizon for any signs of danger. I don't like this. The air feels thick and oppressive, and I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched. Perhaps we should return to the ship and reconsider this venture. Ziara turned to her friend, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Enara, I know this is all new and overwhelming, but we've come too far to turn back now. We're here to learn and explore, to uncover the secrets of this remarkable world. And I, for one, am not about to let our fears hold us back." Enara hesitated, her eyes darting around nervously, but eventually she nodded, her resolve strengthening. "You're right, Ziara. We're here, and we might as well make the most of it. But let's be cautious, all right?" The students began to spread out, their curiosity overriding their initial trepidation. They marveled at the towering trees, the strange buzzing creatures that darted through the air, and the distant alien sounds that echoed across the landscape. As they ventured further from the ship, they encountered their first real challenge: the intense heat of the planet's sun, which beat down relentlessly, causing their bodies to strain and their senses to become overwhelmed. Garen, wiping the sweat from his brow, turned to the others, his voice strained. "This heat, it's unlike anything we've experienced before. We're simply not adapted to withstand such intense radiation. We'll need to find shelter or risk serious harm." The students quickly scanned the area, searching for any sign of suitable shelter. Ziara's eyes lit up as she spotted a cluster of large, leafy plants in the distance. There, those large structures might provide some protection from the sun. Let's head that way and see what we can find. The group made their way across the uneven terrain, their steps slowing as the heat and unfamiliar atmosphere began to take its toll. Finally, they reached the large plants, which upon closer inspection proved to be a dense thicket of what appeared to be some kind of tree. Enara cautiously reached out to touch one of the rough, bark-like trunks, her brow furrowing in concentration. These structures seem to be a form of vegetation, but they're far more substantial and durable than anything we've encountered before. Perhaps they can offer us the shelter we need. The students carefully pushed their way into the thicket, finding a small, shaded clearing that provided a welcome respite from the relentless sun. They collapsed onto the soft, mossy ground, their bodies grateful for the change in temperature and the chance to rest. As they caught their breath, Ziara turned to her companions, her eyes alight with wonder. "This is incredible. The diversity of life on this planet is truly astounding. I can't wait to learn more about these remarkable trees and the creatures that inhabit them." Durin nodded in agreement, his fingers tracing the intricate patterns in the bark. "Indeed, and the fact that they provide such effective shelter from the sun's harsh rays is truly remarkable. This planet is full of wonders, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface." Enara, while still visibly uneasy, couldn't help but be drawn in by the sheer novelty of their surroundings. "I suppose you're both right. There's so much here that we don't understand, and I can't help but be both fascinated and terrified by it all. But we're here, and we might as well make the most of it." The students settled in, taking stock of their supplies and preparing for the next phase of their exploration. As they rested in the shade of the towering trees, they couldn't help but wonder what other marvels and challenges this remarkable planet had in store for them. Over the next few days, the alien students immersed themselves in the wonders of Earth, venturing out from their sheltered clearing to explore the vast, varied landscapes that surrounded them. They encountered a dizzying array of life forms, from the tiny, buzzing insects that darted through the air to the massive, lumbering creatures that roamed the distant plains. Ziara, ever the eager explorer, was enthralled by the sheer diversity of the planet's flora and fauna. "Look at these magnificent creatures," she exclaimed, her antennae twitching with excitement as she observed a herd of large hoofed animals grazing in the distance. "Their movements are so graceful yet powerful. I wonder what purpose they serve in the ecosystem of this world." Kiran, ever the analytical one, carefully documented their observations, his fingers flying across the display of his datapad as he recorded their findings. Fascinating. The range of adaptations these life forms have developed to thrive in this environment is truly remarkable. I wonder what evolutionary pressures have shaped their forms and behaviors. Inara, ever the cautious one, kept a watchful eye on their surroundings, her hand never straying far from the small but powerful blaster she had insisted on bringing with them. I don't know, you two. The more we see, the more I'm convinced that this planet is a true death world. Just look at the size and ferocity of those creatures. I can't imagine how any of us could survive an encounter with such beasts. Ziara turned to her friend, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Inara, I understand your concerns, but we must remember that we are here to learn and explore. These creatures, as formidable as they may seem, are a vital part of this planet's delicate ecosystem. We must approach them with respect and caution, but not fear. Inara nodded reluctantly, her grip on the blaster loosening slightly. I suppose you're right, but the moment anything seems too dangerous, we're heading back to the ship. Agreed. The other students nodded in agreement, and the group continued their exploration, their senses constantly alert for any potential threats. As they ventured deeper into the lush, verdant forests, they encountered new and even more dazzling forms of life. Massive, winged creatures soared overhead, their cries echoing through the canopy, while strange, multi-limbed creatures scurried across the forest floor, their movements both alien and captivating. Giron's eyes were alight with wonder as he studied the intricate webs that stretched between the towering trees, their delicate strands glistening in the filtered sunlight. Remarkable. These web-like structures are clearly the work of some form of intelligent life form, yet they serve no obvious purpose that I can discern. I must investigate further. Ziara, meanwhile, had wandered off, her curiosity leading her to a small, bubbling stream that wound its way through the undergrowth. She knelt down, her fingers dipping into the cool, clear water, and she gasped in delight. Deron and Era, come look at this. The water on this planet is unlike anything we've seen before. It's so pure, so refreshing. I can't wait to analyze its composition. Inara approached cautiously, peering into the stream with a mixture of fascination and trepidation. Water. So this is what the legends were referring to. It looks so innocuous, yet I can't help but wonder what other dangers it might hold. As the students explored the wonders of the forest, they couldn't help but be struck by the sheer scale and complexity of the ecosystem that surrounded them. Every new discovery seemed to raise more questions than answers, and they found themselves both awed and unnerved by the relentless, untamed power of this alien world. Time seemed to pass differently on Earth, the days blurring together as the students immersed themselves in their studies and explorations. They had long since ventured beyond the confines of the initial forest, venturing out into the vast, rolling grasslands and the towering mountain ranges that dominated the horizon. Ziara's eyes were alight with excitement as she pored over the data they had collected, her fingers flying across the displays of her datapad. Look at this, you two. The atmospheric composition of this planet is simply astounding. The levels of oxygen and other essential gases are vastly different from what we're accustomed to, yet the life forms here have adapted to thrive in these conditions. Aaron, who had been carefully observing the behaviors of a group of small, furry creatures, turned to his friend, his expression pensive. Yes, the adaptations of the life forms on this planet are truly remarkable. But the more I observe, the more I'm struck by the sheer ferocity and unpredictability of their interactions. These creatures, while seemingly docile, are capable of sudden, violent outbursts that defy our understanding. Inara, who had been keeping a vigilant watch over their campsite, nodded grimly. That's what I've been trying to tell you both. This planet is a death world, a place where the very air we breathe, and the creatures that roam the land pose a constant threat to our survival. We need to be constantly on our guard, lest we fall victim to the dangers that lurk all around us. Ziara frowned, her brow furrowing in concentration. I understand your concerns, Inara, but we can't let fear dictate our actions. We're here to learn, to uncover the secrets of this remarkable world, and if we approach it with caution and respect, I believe we can do so safely. Darren nodded in agreement, his gaze turning to the distant mountains where the sun was beginning to set. Ziara's right. This planet may be harsh and unforgiving, but it's also a wellspring of knowledge and discovery. We owe it to ourselves and to our people to continue our exploration and bring back what we've learned. Inara sighed, her shoulders sagging slightly. I suppose you're both right, but I can't shake the feeling that we're walking a razor's edge here. One wrong move, and we could be doomed. The three students fell silent, the weight of their mission heavy on their minds. They knew that the dangers of Earth were very real, but their thirst for knowledge and the opportunity to make history was too great to ignore. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the landscape in a warm, golden glow, the students gathered around the small campfire they had built, their thoughts turning to the challenges that lay ahead. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of discovery and near misses as the alien students continued to push the boundaries of their exploration. They ventured deeper into the mountains, studying the strange crystalline formations that dotted the landscape, and they braved the churning seas, observing the massive fin-like creatures that glided effortlessly through the waves. But with each new discovery came new dangers, and the students found themselves increasingly on edge, their senses constantly alert for any sign of threat. Ziara, ever the fearless explorer, had ventured out alone one day, determined to study a herd of the large hoof creatures they had encountered earlier. But as she approached the herd, she realized too late that they were not the docile herbivores she had assumed. With a thunderous roar, one of the creatures turned on her, its massive head lowered in a menacing charge. Ziara barely had time to react before the creature was upon her, its sharp horns gleaming in the sunlight. Inara and Duran, alerted by Ziara's frantic cries, rushed to her aid, their blasters at the ready. But as they closed in on the rampaging beast, they realized that their weapons were woefully inadequate against the sheer size and power of the creature. Duran's eyes widened in horror as he watched the creature's massive hoof descend towards Ziara, who was frozen in fear. "Ziara, move!" he shouted, his voice laced with panic. But it was too late. The hoof crashed down, and Ziara's anguished scream echoed across the plains. Inara and Duran rushed to their friend's side, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination. Ziara was badly injured, her delicate body crushed beneath the weight of the creature's assault. "Hang on, Ziara," Inara said, her voice trembling as she applied pressure to the bleeding wounds. "We'll get you back to the ship. You'll be all right." Duran, his face pale with worry, quickly activated the emergency beacon, summoning aid from the transport ship. But as they waited, the realization of their precarious situation began to sink in. "This planet, it's truly a death world," Darren murmured, his gaze fixed on the now retreating herd. "We were so caught up in our exploration, so blinded by our curiosity, that we failed to recognize the true dangers that lurk here." Inara nodded, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "We need to get out of here, Darren. This place is too dangerous, and we can't risk any more of us getting hurt. Or worse." Darren looked down at the unconscious Ziara, his heart heavy with guilt and fear. "You're right. We need to get Ziara back to the ship and get off this planet as soon as possible. The rest of our exploration will have to wait." As the transport ship's rescue team arrived on the scene, Inara and Duran quickly ushered the gravely injured Ziara aboard, their faces etched with worry. The medical staff immediately sprang into action, rushing Ziara to the ship's infirmary to stabilize her condition. Iran and Anara watched helplessly as their friend was whisked away, the reality of their situation sinking in. They had come to Earth filled with curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, but now they were forced to confront the harsh truth. This planet was truly a death world, and their very lives were in constant peril. Once Ziara was safely aboard, the ship's captain summoned Deran and Inara to the bridge, his expression grave. "Students, I've reviewed the emergency beacon transmission, and I must say I'm deeply concerned about the events that have transpired. It's clear that this planet poses an unacceptable level of risk to your safety and well-being." Deran stepped forward, his voice trembling slightly. "Captain, we understand the gravity of the situation, but we were so close to making groundbreaking discoveries about this world. Surely, there must be a way for us to continue our exploration safely." The captain shook his head solemnly. "I'm afraid that's simply not possible, Deran. The injuries sustained by your companion are severe, and the risks of remaining on this planet are too great. We must cut our mission short and return to the Confederation immediately." Inara, who had been silent up until this point, finally spoke up, her voice laced with a mixture of relief and disappointment. I understand, Captain. As much as we've learned and as much as we still want to discover, the safety of our crew must come first. We'll do as you've instructed." The captain nodded, his expression softening slightly. "I know this isn't easy, but you've all shown remarkable courage and resilience in the face of these challenges. Now, let's get you and your companion back home, where you can recover and continue your studies in a safer environment." With that, the captain turned to the helm and issued the order to prepare for immediate departure. Deran and Inara, their hearts heavy, made their way to the infirmary to check on Ziara's condition. As the transport ship lifted off from the surface of Earth, the students gazed out the viewports, their eyes filled with a bittersweet mix of wonder and trepidation. They had come to this mysterious planet in search of knowledge and adventure, but what they had discovered was a world far more dangerous and unforgiving than they could have ever imagined. Yet, despite the harrowing ordeal they had endured, the students couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and respect for the sheer power and complexity of this alien world. It was a death world, to be sure, but it was also a world teeming with life and wonder, a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the natural world. As the transport ship left Earth's atmosphere and began its journey back to the Confederation, the students knew that their experiences on this planet would forever change them. They had faced the harsh realities of the death world, and they had emerged with a newfound appreciation for the delicate balance of life and the dangers that lurked in the unknown. In the infirmary, Ziara lay unconscious, her body battered and bruised, but her spirit undaunted. Deran and Inara kept a vigil by her bedside, their hands clasped tightly as they waited for her to wake and share the tales of their harrowing adventure. For the students of the Confederation, the mystery of Earth had been partially unraveled, but they knew that this was only the beginning. Somewhere, deep within the vast expanse of that blue and green orb, there were secrets waiting to be discovered, challenges to be faced, and knowledge to be gained. And when the time was right, they would return, better prepared and more cautious, to uncover the true wonder and terror of the death world known as Earth. As the transport ship left the enigmatic world of Earth behind, the students knew that their journey had only just begun. The wonders and dangers they had encountered on that distant planet had forever changed them, instilling a deep respect for the untamed power of the natural world. They knew that one day, when they were ready, they would return to Earth, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a determination to unlock the secrets of this remarkable death world. Until then, they would hone their skills, refine their knowledge, and prepare themselves for the challenges that lay ahead. For the students of the Confederation, the adventure of a lifetime had only just begun, and the lessons they had learned on Earth would guide them as they ventured forth, ready to face the unknown with a newfound sense of courage and caution. The death world had revealed its face, and they were forever changed.